Hi, Stacy here with Bluebird Paper and Thread. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Saturday, June 8th, and I'm glad that you took some time out of your day to hang out with me. This video is going to be probably a little bit longer. I missed last week because we have a graduate from the Marine Corps boot camp, and he's home. My son graduated a week ago Friday, and he is home. Sorry, it looks like I'm hoping that's a fly, not a bee. I think it's moving too fast to be a bee. Anyways, I've got Gunner down here, so if you hear him chewing, he is, keeping himself busy with a rubber chew toy. So anyways, so I took last week off, picked up my son's girlfriend. We did some shopping for a little family get-together that we're having tomorrow on Sunday the 9th. And Wednesday we went down and we had dinner with the drill instructors of his platoon or his company, and we went to family day, which was lovely, and then we went to graduation, which was amazing. So we had a really good couple of days. I did my first ever rental of an Airbnb, and it was in the perfect location, literally 2 minutes down the road from where we had to enter the base. So that was good, and maybe 5 minutes away from Target and some restaurants and things like that. So it was good. Plenty of space for everybody. But man, every time I sat down on that couch, I fell asleep. Anyways, so he's home. He is wrapping up his 10-day leave. He has to report back by, early afternoon on Tuesday. So his girlfriend and I will be taking him back. His girlfriend is staying a little longer than anticipated because she wound up getting sick, and she had to change her flight because she can't fly with congestion. So apparently it can pop your eardrums. I didn't know that. And if I did, I had forgotten it. So it is not a problem. She is, welcome to stay here as long as she needs to or wants to. She's lovely. So, so in the last 2 weeks, we had Memorial Day. I took the week off. This week at work was a lot of catch up and a lot of meetings. So the first 2 days back, I had 2 4-hour meetings. One in each day. Because my son was home, he sold his car before he went into boot camp, so I let him have my car. But that meant my husband would have to pick me up after work, and he gets off work half an hour later than me. And I thought, this is perfect. I will get an extra 45 minutes every day this week to kind of collect my thoughts and get caught up, and wow, can you get a lot done in 45 minutes when no one is in the office. So that's what I did. I did have to go in this morning to train, and I will have to go in tomorrow morning to train as well. So our party for him will be starting late afternoon, and hopefully we'll have everything done, and if we don't, it's okay. It's mostly family, a couple of friends. It's fine. I got quite a bit of stitching done, although no stitching when I was in San Diego. I'm a little shocked by that. The lighting was not conducive to stitching in the evening. I was so tired because both days we had to get up early to be on base and do what we needed to do. Get your ball. Get your ball. You're gonna go inside. Get your ball. No, get your ball. No. Good boy. Sorry. And then it's emotional, and then you're on the go and you're on your feet a lot of the time, and so there was no time for stitching, and the lighting was awful, and I forgot my neck light, and so I didn't get any stitching done. but I got stitching before and stitching after done, so that was good. One thing I do want to share, when we were at dinner on Wednesday night with the drill instructors, they give you about 45 minutes where you can line up and meet the drill instructor, the senior drill instructor of your Marines platoon. And so we did, and we chatted with him for about 5 minutes. It was fine. He's a really nice guy. And then they let you in to a dining hall, and you see the drill instructors, and then all of a sudden they all file through this door, and you're like, okay, great. And then the door closes. You're like, okay, whatever. I'm just here to eat. Learn what I can learn. And they're showing a slideshow of pictures of throughout boot camp, mostly the Crucible, actually, their last big push. And we found about 5 or 6 pictures of our kids. So of course I had to buy the thumb drive, but the thumb drive isn't a traditional thumb drive, and it doesn't. I have to buy an adapter now to fit in the computer so I can have. Bottom line, I'm like, did I just waste $32 for nothing? But I want the pictures. He wants the pictures. So anyway, so we're sitting there, and they're like, okay, we're going to introduce your drill instructors to you. We're like, great. Well, we were sitting at a table there was one table in front of us, and then in front of that table were 2 double doors, arched. They were closed. And they opened up the double doors, and they were all standing single file line, perfectly in line with their hats on and everything, and their stance. And my daughter's like, oh, they're so scary. And they looked intimidating. And I said, now imagine them doing that when you are a brand new poolie coming in, and you just went through and you're meeting all of them for the first time, and they all file in that way, and they say their pledge, and then they start barking at you. And she's like, yeah, no. They were intimidating looking, and it was awesome. Anyway, so we had a really good time. Back to stitching. Sorry, I digressed. There's just so much to talk about. I had a finish, and I did not get things fully finished like I was hoping, because there was a lot to do. There still is a lot to do. I'm thinking, because I'm working so many hours, that I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off, probably towards the end of July, just to sit at home and do nothing but finishing. So I have finished lots of whips. And a little bit of haul. And that's about it. So let's get started, and let's start with my finish. I finished Wee Santa 2023 by Heart and Hand, and I stitched this on 32 count Star Sapphire linen by Witcheld. And there's my finish. So this was my Friday focus piece, and it was the first one that I picked up. Last week I worked on some of the green right and through here, and then I decided, let's focus a little bit more. And I stitched this on a Sunday, and I thought, okay, I'll stitch it until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'll switch to something else. Well, I got to a point where I'm like, that's ridiculous to not stitch these 3 flowers and the stems. Let's keep going. So I stitched this all the way up, and I finished it. I don't think I stitched very fast, and I stitched on it all day, and I think I finished it about, I don't know, I'm gonna say like 11:30, 11:20, something like that, maybe quarter to 11. Pretty late at night, although I do stitch late, but you know, to do a finish and work on it all day. I just thought, let's get it done. Why wait one more Friday? And then I can include it with my finishes coming up. I did the called for flosses. And this flower up here, I love the way it looks, but I started stitching and I realized pretty quickly that I needed to stop what I was doing and come up with a plan. And so I did, and once I started working the plan, it came together pretty quickly. But I kind of went in willy-nilly and just started, oh, I'll stitch here and I'll stitch there, and it wasn't working out very good. Couple of mistakes, not too bad. Not bad enough for me to feel like I needed to pull them out. So yes, a finish. I'm very happy. Called for Classic Colorworks and 1 Weeks Dye Works. Hold on. He is now eating his toy. He's very content. Chewing it to shreds. So this means that I finished that Friday focus meant I got to pick a new Friday focus. And I decided I wanted to work until I get this one finished, Honeybee Quaker by Primrose Cottage. I am stitching this on a fabric that I don't know what it is, but I'm thinking it might be a fabric flare. I know that I was saying that I think it was a Picture This Plus. I think I was wrong. I do think it's probably a fabric flare, and it is a honeycomb pattern, and a little bit of you can see the white versus the background, which is kind of a beige. So I moved this along. Somewhere in here I got off a little bit because this motif is touching the bee antenna, but I just thought I'm going to leave it. I am not going to mess with it. So I worked on this part here, this. I started the bee wings and I finished this. And I think I added this little motif here. And that's what I did yesterday. So really, this is very possible that it could be a finish next Friday. Unless I decide to pull it out this week and work on it, which I could. And I wish you could see, I mean, the colors are awesome on this. I really like them. All DMC, all called for. So, such a pretty palette. So maybe we'll have another finish next week. Which would be lovely. I worked on monthly weigh-in for May. This is what I took down with me to work on in San Diego, and I didn't work on it at all. But I did work on it before I left. And I don't think I showed my progress because I think I did it after my last video. But this is where I'm at. So I finished the flowers, the house with the exception of the blue flowers here. I added the bird and the red flowers, and I started out in this red box here, and I started working on the actual scale. So I made quite a bit of progress. Now at the end of the month, I have to stay all night at work for an overnight. We have to have a staff person on duty all night long and stay up all night long. So I am doing that, and I think what I'll do is I'll take this with me then, because the fabric is loose enough, the holes are big enough that I think I can see to stitch in the wee hours of the morning. And then when I get done, I can move on to the next, because I have it all here. And this is what it looks like when it's done. And if I finish this before then I'll pick up the next one, which will either be July or August. I haven't received August in the mail yet, but I know it's coming. It is a monthly subscription that I did through Fat Quarter Shop, and I got the chart and the called for floss automatically sent. I had to pay and pick up the fabric separately. August is their last month. The series will be done because they started in September last year. So the series will be done in August. I don't think I'm going to do another series. I think I'm going to wait. I want to work on some of the charts that I have now. I don't want to add a whole lot. Plus fall and new Christmas charts, if they come out and there's something that I have to have, I want to do that. So I think I'm gonna take a pause on stitching subscriptions for a little bit. I pulled out Susan's little sampler by From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. This is just a sweet little sampler. I am stitching this on 40 count lamb's wool linen by 123 Stitch. And this is my progress. So I finished bringing the green over and up. I worked on this flower and I started these flowers down there. Gunner, no. Where's your ball? Get your ball. Right here. There it is, right here. Right here. Get it. I'm loving the way this is going to turn out. It's stitching up a little bit bigger than what I had originally thought, but I don't care. I think it's going to be cute, either framed, sitting on a shelf, or even on my wall. I just haven't decided. Sorry, Gunner knocked the table. I'm using the called for flosses. And just real pretty, soft palette. I just really like them a lot. No, take this. He is just about ready to go inside. Memorial Day. I don't know what happened. I wanted to spend all day stitching and I did not spend all day stitching. I wound up stitching in the evening only. I don't quite remember why. Sorry about that. He walks by with one of my wooden snowflakes that I store under my desk over there, and he gives me the side eye as he starts walking out my room. So he is in his room. Memorial Day. I'm like, where was I? Memorial Day. I really wanted to spend the bulk of the day stitching, and that didn't happen. And I don't really know why. I know I said I was going to try to get a video out on a craft room tour, and I filmed it, but I didn't like one part of it, and I need to do either a voiceover or something else with it. I don't know, and I'm not very good at voiceovers. So I'm still fiddling with it a little bit. getting ready to go. I mean, I don't know what my problem was, but I only started stitching really around dinner time. And so I pulled out Land That I Love because Memorial Day, patriotic, yada yada. I am stitching this on 40 count vintage country mocha. And this is where I'm at. Let me fold this up a little bit, make it easier. And this is where I'm at. So I didn't do a whole lot. I started working on finishing this flower here and bringing this border all the way up, adding the leaves, starting another flower. I added some of the white flowers in here because I had the white here. So I didn't get a whole lot done. It's like one of those things like, really? I've been working on this for how long? And it doesn't look like I touched it at all. But I did. And that is my progress. I am loving this piece. I really should probably pull it out a little bit more. It's hard because this strawberry section, half of it is on one page and half of it is on another. So you really have to pay attention so that you don't get off track with the stitching. And I think that's part of my problem is I'm at that point in the pattern of the chart where I really have to focus and pay attention, and it slows me down. So that's where I'm at with it. It's going to be so gorgeous when it's done. I cannot wait. And I'm stitching it with all the called for flosses. So we've got a couple Classic Colorworks, a couple Weeks, and then DMC. And you can see there the nice primitive muted tones. I know just where I'm going to hang this in the house. I just got to get there. I pulled out Redbird Sampler by With Thy Needle and Thread. So she reproduced it. This is her version. And then the original, you can see up here. So not too far off. I am stitching this one on mystery fabric. Not a mystery. I'm stitching this on 32 count Belfast linen by Zweigart. I guess the color's Belfast. I don't know. I thought Belfast was a type of linen. I don't know. But here I am. I feel like I really moved this one along. I finished this motif and I started this motif and I added that one. So now I'm getting into the fun part of the chart. Oh. Very close to being done, actually. I would say I'm maybe just under the halfway mark. Again, called for flosses, real pretty colors. I enjoy this one a lot when I'm stitching on it. I think the colors with this particular linen look really, really good. ready for summer. So I pulled out Happy Campers by the Blue Flower. And I am working in this corner up here. I decided to work this one, I think page by page. And I'm almost done with the first page. I am stitching this on chocolate milk, 40 count linen. Chocolate milk is the color, by Fabrics by Stephanie. And here is my progress. So this is not staying on. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm struggling a little bit. Not only am I distracted, I'm also, I have a headache today, which is not part of the game plan, and I had to work, and, you know. There we go. So I finished this tree, and this tree, and this tree. And I started working on this motif here, which is going to be a tent with a bear coming out of it. So I'm quite excited. I have to fill in this one. Now what I might do, I haven't quite decided, because it kind of goes against doing one page until it's done. I may wait and fill all of these sections together because there's 3 of them that are the night sky. The flip side of that is that there's 3 of them in the night sky, and that's a lot of blue. Hopefully that's the last of the interruptions for a while. So yeah, it would be a lot of blue if I waited until the very end. So I'm debating. We'll see. We'll see what I feel like when the time comes. I probably should just stitch it and get it over with, because if for me, if I stitch too much of the same color in something like this, then it becomes laborious, and it takes me a long time. Excuse me. So I think I'll just probably stitch it when it's the turn, it's time to be stitched. Words today are hard. All of the called for flosses, really pretty. I love the way she combined her greens. You wouldn't think that they would look good together, and yet they look good together. Sorry, I found pattern I didn't get back in the bag for Susan's little sampler. We'll do that before we get too far along and it gets swooped up into another bag. Now this one, I don't recall the last time I showed this one. It's been on timeout for quite a while. I fell in love with this piece because I love the color, and it's on a dark linen. And it was my unicorn chart for a while. I had to really search and hunt for it. But Anne Topley, 1802. And it is the color of the floss off of that dark linen. And I love it. Now, the called for linen is double dyed black forest linen from Lakeside Linen. I couldn't find that linen. I can't find most of the flosses either, I think. I think I had to make some substitutions. I'm not sure. I am stitching this on... Uh, 36 count Edinburgh linen, fat quarter I got, and it's Night Sky from Fiber on a Whim. And it's not a very big sampler. Oops, let me get my needle out. It is not a very big sampler. I believe I'm at the top. It's just about as tall as it's going to be. I mean, I have to do the border across the top, but this is, you know, ignore the mess there, but this is where I'm at. So the over dyed flosses really do make this pop. It shows up so much better in real life than it does on this through the camera here. I put this on timeout, I think, because somewhere in here I messed up on my count and I'm off a little bit, and I finally I had to get over it, and it took me a long time. So I finished the border. I was up to about here on the border. I finished the border. I started in with the red here. I added these two crowns. I finished these two. Well, I don't think they're finished. I think there's one more layer. I started the heart, and I'm starting one of the last two crowns in that section. So when I finish this band, then I'll move on to the next band, which is her name. And then depending on how I'm feeling, I may just work from the bottom up, or I may then focus on the top and work my way down, because this one section looks like it's a lot of fun to stitch. And the alphabet, for me, alphabets tend to go by pretty quickly, but not fast enough. So that's where we are with Anne Topley. This fabric, because it's so dark, it slows me down a little bit because it takes a while for my eyes to adjust to it. So it is a slower stitch, and that's part of the problem too, right? It doesn't work up quickly. I pulled out my beloved Dreaming of Poppies. By Rosewood Manor. I don't want to lose my page because it takes me a good hot minute to figure out where I'm at when I close the book. I am stitching this on Winter Moon Linen, 32 count linen by Zweigart. And I think it is the perfect color for this piece. Just a real nice creamy white color. These are all the called for flosses. There so many flosses, and the colors are very similar, but what that's doing is it's really giving a little bit of depth to the piece. And I really do enjoy it. I have got the dropsies today. Goodness. I keep dropping things. So this is where I'm at. So if you have been with me before, I believe I finished this motif, and I had finished, you know, pretty much here. So I went back in, I added what I needed to add green wise. I filled in, nope, that one was already filled in. I added the flowers, the word poppies, and then I started in on the next branch, kind of going up. So I got the black outline done, so it's ready to be filled with the reds and the yellows, and I'm working on the leaves. So I do feel like once I got this done and I held it up, you know, and I looked at it, I thought, wow, I am moving along on this one. So It's fun. It's the colors on this. They are so bright and vibrant and beautiful. And poppies, the California poppies, is the state flower for California. So that's another reason. I mean, look at this shading. On this center motif here, look at that shading. It's just, it's so pretty. A lot of work. Well worth it. And I don't care how long it takes me to finish this one because it is a pleasure to stitch on. At least it is for me. I know not everybody can do large pieces like this, and I do have quite a few in different phases of completion, but I enjoy it. Okay, now I wanted something a little easier the other night, so I pulled out Seaside Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. And I am stitching this with the called for flosses. And I am stitching this on 32 count linen. Polar Plunge is the color, and it's by Fabrics by Stephanie. And this is my progress. So I worked on the house. I got the roof done. I started working on the next house after that just because that's the color floss I had to pull out, and I thought, let's get as much of that done as I can. I'm pretty close to coming back to finishing up these birds here, the seagulls, and then you add another cloud here. And then I'll be about maybe a third of the way done. I am liking it on the blue. I had this on a different color fabric. It was more of a peachy color, and I just didn't care for it, and it was kind of stumping me. I'm much happier with this. It was well worth the restart. And I guess that's what you have to do, right? When you are not happy with a piece, are you not happy with the piece and over it and you don't want to stitch it anymore because your tastes have changed or it's not what you expected it to be? Or do you like the chart but you don't like the fabric or even the floss colors? You know, you should maybe consider restarting it because it can make a huge difference. And these colors look great on here. I think I'm missing one. I think I need to find Old Money. I'm pretty sure I have it in my stash. I just have to find it. So. We're at the end. My last one. This is the Sal with Teresa Kogut's Patreon group. It is Hometown. I'm stitching this on the called for 40 count up in the attic linen. I can't find a good picture of where we're at. Here we are. This is where we're at right now. So in just a few days, they're going to release this one, and I'm still fiddling around over there. Not enough time in the day. All of the called for DMCs. Because this is a Sal and she's doing it to kind of work out all the bugs and charting in, errors. Some of the colors she has chosen will be moved to a variegated overdyed. I'm probably not going to change any of my colors just because I have them here. I mean, look at how many that is. That's a ton. You guys are gonna think I'm a big liar. They're leaving the house now. They'll be gone for a while. I should be able to finish what I have left to say. I apologize, you guys. Anyways, this is where I'm at. So the first 4 months are done. January, February, March, April. May I'm still working on it. And you can see I'm working on that house there. And I messed up on the count, and I'm just gonna go with what I'm doing and deal with it. She had added in on this one, after we had, stitched it, a dark line to kind of make the definition of the side of the house, versus, well, the two sides of the house. She kind of did the same thing here, but I miscounted, and I thought, I'm not putting in that darker color. I will just treat it like I did the yellow one above, and it worked just fine. So I'm starting to fall behind on this one. It needs some attention. I don't think I'm going to get a lot of stitching done tomorrow because we'll be having people over. Now, the nice thing with people coming over at about 4, people that aren't family will be leaving probably by 6:30 would be my guess. I mean, they're welcome to stay as long as they want, but 6 or 6:30 would be my guess. And then family will stay a little bit longer would be my presumption, and then they'll leave, and then I'll have the rest of the evening to just kind of chill, and I'll probably wind up going to bed early. We'll see. Okay, haul. My next installment of Country Cottage Needleworks pastel ornament collection came in, and this one is Snow Angel. I am ordering these through Annabella's. So I pay for the chart every month, and then it gets sent out to me. I went ahead and I paid for the floss pack, and that was sent in the first, with the first chart. So that one I've got. And then my Weeks Dye Works Floss Frenzy came in. And here we've got galvanized, garnet, Garrison Green, Glacial Melt, Gold, and Goldenrod. Gold and Goldenrod are very, very similar. I think the universe is saying, go to bed. You need a nap. So, real pretty colors. This galvanized is a really pretty gray. Garnet, of course, is always gorgeous. Garrison Green, that blue is such a pretty blue. And then the golds, what great neutral. Be great for this color here. Gold would be a great color for wheat. I mean, that variegation is just so pretty. So that came in. And then, of course, with the first of each month, Teresa Kogut, her Patreon group, she releases her charts to them. You get, it's a tiered membership, so you can pick whichever tier you want to. I chose to do tier 4, which is the top tier, and I think it's only like $20. So you can get 3 patterns for $20. You get to be invited to do, I think it's 2 stitch alongs, and then she does live videos on her Patreon, all the things that other people do. So June's were released, and I really like them. She also gives them Patreon members a discount code for her Etsy shop and a password to her secret shop. And not everybody gets access to the secret shop unless you are a Patreon member, and that's where you can buy previous Patreon charts, or the ornament of the month that she releases, and that's only like $5 for the ornament of the month, so it's well worth it. So this month it is Patriotic Blooms. I love, love, love. And that is tier 4, so that chart's available only to tier 4. This one is available only to tiers 3 and 4, and it's Peace and Patriotism. I love this one too. I love the deer, but I can't help but think Christmas. Maybe Christmas in July is what she was thinking. I don't know. It doesn't mean I'm not going to stitch it. Of course I'll stitch it, but it's so cute. And then tier 2, 3, and 4, again, she knocked it out of the park. Betsy's Horse. And that flag is phenomenal. And then the ornament this time is USA House. So it's a little bit more on the rectangular side, which I really do like. If you stitch this on 40 count, it'll work up to be 2 3/4 by 3 1/8. 32 count, 3 1/2 by 3 7/8. So almost 3 1/2 by 4. 28 count. I think she messed up. 4 by 4 3/4. So you can get it. I mean, it's a small stitch. It could be made into a little pillow. It could probably be made into a scissor fob. 46 count would be 2 3/8 by 2 3/4. So the 46 count might be too big, but 50. What's the next one? 54. That might be worth it if you want something small and tiny. Anyways, so you get all of these for the $20, and you get the option to buy this for $5. So for $25 a month, you have access to 4 different charts if you want. And so far, there's only been a couple of months where I haven't been like over the moon excited, but all of her stuff is cute. It's just whether or not it's my taste. The things that are a little bit more overtly religious, I don't tend to go towards as much, but they're still really, really cute. So what I did with those is I just downloaded them and I saved them on my computer so that when I'm going through and looking for a project, I can look at it and say, okay, how can I modify this, or what can I do with this? So I always download them, and what I do with them from there is, anybody's guess. So okay, that is it. All the children are gone from the house. The dog is locked up. My video is now over. We've been interrupted a handful of times. I apologize. If you are new to my channel, this is not usually how my videos go. Sometimes they do, yes. It's true. But for the most part, they're not this discombobulated. So if you made it to the end, thank you. I appreciate you. Please take a moment if you liked what you saw and the craziness that is my life. And take a moment and hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. I do read all the comments. I do my best, and I think I'm pretty good about keeping up with responding, at least with a heart acknowledgement, if nothing else, on the comments. I do I do appreciate it. All of it helps to move the content forward. We are really close, like 6 or 7 subscribers away from hitting 1,400, and then just 100 more, and we're going to hit 1,500. And I would love to do a giveaway. So when we hit that 1,500, so it all helps, it all counts, and it all makes a difference. And I am having the best time. I love these videos. It's what I look forward to doing every week. I love sharing with you guys. I love interacting with you guys. And so I do appreciate it. Birds. I want to take a minute. I want to talk about my birds. If you don't want to hear about my birds, thank you. You can log off. I won't be offended. I have a bluebird, a western bluebird nesting box in my front yard. And I think if you've watched my videos all along, you know I've already had a clutch of 5 this season. And this is my 4th year having bluebirds. Well, they are laying another clutch. So if you can get in there and clean out the box immediately after the birds fledge, then they will rebuild a nest. If there's time and it's still in their mating season, they will build another nest and they will start all over again. And that's what they're doing. They are starting over. I don't know. I know I have at least 3 in there. I'm thinking I have probably 4, if not 5, eggs in there. This last time I had 5. And it was very cool because I went to work in the middle of May, and I'm standing on the porch, and one of the babies was like halfway out of the box. And I thought, oh, I'm going to come home tonight and they're all going to be gone. Because that's when they start poking their head out and they're not totally afraid of the world outside of their box. That means they're getting ready to fledge. And I could hear, I walked by and I heard all this flapping in the box, which I've never heard before. And so I get into my car, and as I'm glancing up, one of the birds fledged and flew out of the box. And it was the coolest thing because it flew down, and then one of the parents followed it, and it went into the neighbor's yard, and then it flew back, and it went down into the grass, and it started looking for something to eat, and then it came up and it sat on the corner of my garage right by my car, and it just looked at me. So we were watching each other for a while, and then its sibling was in the box and it was poking its head out. And I sat there and I videoed it for, I don't know, a minute and a half, and I was already late to work, and I thought, I cannot sit here any longer and wait for you to do your thing. So I left, and when I came home, they were all gone. But don't worry, I have another nest starting. So that leads me to my second nest. I thought I had hummingbirds. I have a Japanese maple tree right outside my bedroom window, and I thought I had a hummingbird nest in there, although it looked a little large to me to be a hummingbird nest. And when I approached the nest at one point in time, just to kind of take my phone and peek in it and see what was in there, a bird flew out of there. And the way it flew, I thought, oh, it's a hummingbird nest. It wasn't a hummingbird nest. It was a nest of a bird that I didn't even know existed, and it's nesting in my yard. It is called a swinho white-eye. It's a little itty-bitty olive green bird with a white ring around its eye, and it had 3 babies. And when my cousin was over to kind of get instructions on the cats right before we went to San Diego, he's like, that is not a hummingbird's nest. That is something else. And so I looked it up and figured out that's what it was. And we got a really good picture of the birds. It's either at the beginning of the video or the end of the video. It's the one with the 3 birds, kind of greenish color. And when we got back, they were still there. But the way that they were acting, I thought, oh, I think they're going to fledge soon. And sure enough, later that day, I checked, and they were, no parent was coming to feed them. And so I went outside, and I held my camera up the other day, and I took a photo, and they're gone. So they have fledged. Now, I believe they will nest another 2 times. What I don't know is if they use the same nest or if they nest in the same area. They were in my trees out in the front yard, so maybe they're switching the location of their house and they're moving across across the street, which is across my walkway. I don't know. But I was thrilled to have 2 different species of birds nesting literally within, I don't know, 5 yards of each other. So it was quite fun. And the Swinhoe white-eye birds were nesting right outside my bedroom window. So the cat could watch. I was watching every morning. I'd put my makeup on and I'd go and I'd check and watch them. And it was really fun to have that close up of a view. And if it never happens again, it's okay. But I hope it does. I hope they come back and use the same nest for the entire season. That would be pretty awesome. So, anyways, that is it for me. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm, enjoying when the sun comes out and it warms up just a little bit here. We're still getting that June gloom. Hopefully it'll turn around here soon in the next few days or the next couple of weeks, actually. I hope tomorrow it's nice and sunny and warm for our party, but not hot, just perfectly warm. I hope the weather is nice where you are. I hope that you get lots of stitching time in. If you've got any graduation celebrations, enjoy them. And I guess that's it. Have a great weekend. Have a great week ahead. And until next time, happy stitching.